Something really dreadful's happened tonight, and I arrived, I think, just almost immediately after the helicopter crashed into the roof of this pub. And when I arrived, there was no noise and no panic. There was no sound from the helicopter. Those who were injured were calm. I'm not a doctor, but maybe in shock, and there was nobody running. Well, the strange thing is there was a big group of people. There's a lot of dust, but nobody was running away from the scene. In fact, people were running towards the scene because the emergency services weren't here yet, and they got here really quickly, as quickly as I'm sure it's in any way humanly possible. But when I arrived, there was just a sense that something dreadful's happened, and how can people help? And I think that's what people tried to do in their own small ways.
What did you manage to do?
I don't want to talk too much. I did what any human being would do, which is work out what you can do. I'm not a doctor, so it's not my job to treat people's wounds. I'm quite big and quite tall, and I thought the best thing I can do is try and lift people. So there was this kind of human chain, people further in the pub than me, trying to grab people out, and there was a small line of people, and you basically got past the person, and you tried to pass them to the person next to you to try and get them from harm's way. But I did very little compared to some other people who were, I'm no doubt, trying to rescue friends or even loved ones or family from the scene behind us.
How surprised are you that this was a helicopter that crashed into the roof of the pub? There was no fire, no explosion.
It's talking to some of the people who were injured. They were puzzled and just wanted to know what had happened, because they hadn't heard anything. They hadn't heard the noise of a helicopter coming down on top of the pub. But I think the strange thing for everybody is you're trying to help in any way that you can, just any little way that you can, is that there's a helicopter in the roof of this pub. There's no fire and there's no explosion, and you're thinking, why not? And when might that happen? Now, fortunately, that hasn't happened. I'm not an expert in the design of helicopters, but that's in the back of your mind. How can as many people get away from this pub as quickly as possible before possibly there is a fire or an explosion?
How far into the pub were you? Did you go inside or was it outside?
You couldn't get fully inside the pub. The damage was such. There was people who had got a few yards in, who were trying to grab through the debris, and the damage to get people out. And I just joined that line of people. I was just inside the pub and trying to help drag people out and do what you can, and then trying to help the people who were injured until the emergency services got here. And they got here quickly, and they are doing brilliantly. And I think in a tragedy like this, the only good thing is that it's in the city centre, so close to a major hospital, and people are only genuinely less than 2 minutes in an ambulance to a great hospital and the best care that they can possibly have, and hope. And yeah, some people will pray, but certainly hope that those people are treated safely tonight.